in today to JSpeaks.
Tune in today to JSpeaks.
Tune in today to JSpeaks.
So I'd like to start off today's presentation with a quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, and for nearly 27 years she successfully fought against gender discrimination in the United States. The quote goes, "Speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. And when you least expect it, someone may actually hear what you have to say." To me, I like this quote because it highlights the importance, the opportunity of having the willingness and the courage to speak your mind and to advocate for yourself. If you don't speak up, it is guaranteed that no one will hear you. I don't know if any of you follow the sport of basketball or play the sport, but there's a saying that goes, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Similarly, when you have the courage and the willingness to speak up for yourself, you give people at least the opportunity to hear and respond to the value that you're trying to add. Similarly, I also like this quote because it highlights the importance on showing up every day to work, to life, being your authentic self. But authenticity doesn't just stop with speaking. Authenticity is more so doing. Every decision that we make tells the world a little bit about who we are and what we stand for. We should feel happy, we should feel proud to show up every day being our authentic selves, regardless of the feedback or pushback that we might receive. I'm sure that there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of little girls all over the world who are being told that they could be whatever they want to be when they grow up. I'm sure some of you sitting in this very room were told the same. Although society makes it daunting for women to venture into the trade of construction, there is absolutely nothing wrong being a woman and loving to build and work with your hands. So now that you are all grown up and you all are working within your space of fulfillment, working within your space of joy, that being a woman in construction, how do you show up in your feminine space authentically in a male-dominated environment? For one, I believe that you feel as though that you have to prove yourself differently or work twice as hard just to receive the same level of respect that your male counterparts receive. And having this emotional weight weighing on your conscience, weighing on your psyche every day can be draining and ultimately take the fun out of your passion for construction. Well, I'm here to tell you that you do not have to play this game. You do not have to play this game of trying to fit in. You do not have to play this game of trying to bring male energy into your job every day. I suggest that you release that pressure. You release the pressure that you're putting onto yourself to show up the same as your male counterparts and fit their mold. And in order to do this, I highly suggest that you take me seriously when I say that you can only control yourself and how you show up to work every day. You can't control people's opinions of you, or you can't control people in general. Focusing your energy on yourself and how you show up to work every day versus your emotional time and your emotional energy and trying to alter the opinions of other people is the best way to bring your true, authentic, feminine self to the table and show up as you are. Now, how do I say this? How do I say this? So, okay, hold up, sorry. Sorry.
You won't offend us. Don't
No.
worry about that.
As long as you know for yourself that you're coming into work every day, going the extra mile, working hard, giving your best, and most importantly, being kind and considerate to your colleagues, that should be more than enough for you to pat yourself on the back and assure yourself that you're doing a good job. I believe at the core of walking in your feminine space authentically, you have to learn how to be your best friend. You have to learn how to speak positivity over your life. Speak positive words of affirmation over your day-to-day. And during an off day, give yourself the benefit of the doubt. But most importantly, learn not to need the validation of other people. Validation is fine, validation is welcomed, it's accepted, but there's a staunch difference between a want and a need. A want is a luxury. I want this purse. I want to go out to eat at this restaurant. I want to take this vacation. A need is a necessity. We need water to survive, but we should not need external validation in order to feel internally happy. Now, in order to muster up this courage, in order to take that first step into self-love and to walk in your feminine space authentically, I truly believe that you understand for yourself the importance of journaling and meditation. Now, when I say meditation, I'm talking about sitting alone in a quiet room and allowing yourself to hear and digest your thoughts so that you can understand for yourself what are you looking for versus the mold that you're trying to fit in, even subconsciously, or the career path that has already been predefined for you. Instead of taking the career path that has been predefined for you, challenge yourself to dig deep, soul search, spell out, what are you looking for? What are you trying to gain? What best serves you? So that you know what you need to do to bring to the table, and you know how to show up in order to do that. Now, the self-actualization piece of this whole process, walking in your feminine space authentically, the onus will always fall on your shoulders. No one can force you to do this. You got to want to do this. Now, I do realize that I do understand that as you're going through this process, you don't just wake up one day and boom, you got it. It's a process. Mold in order to keep my head down and just stay out of trouble. A growth mindset takes that same situation, but it looks at it from a different perspective, a different lens. A growth mindset is, I can change my story, I can change my situation, I can change if I allow myself to grow. So I want you to ask yourself, how would I show up differently if I did not have self-doubt? Seriously. How would I show up differently to work if I did not have low self-confidence? How would I grow differently? And once you've sincerely sat down and you ruminated on that answer, do the work. Do the work for how you want to show up at your job. Do the work for how you want to be perceived at your job. Do the work for the person that you are trying to work towards and inevitably be. In order to hit milestones that you've never reached in your life, or milestones in your career, or in order to become a person that you've always dreamed of, it's going to require of you to operate from a different and new space and change and modify your behavior. You can't go somewhere new in life that you've never been while still operating within the limited confines in your head. You can't become someone new or different or someone that you aspire in life if you still harbor the same old habits, bad traits, and characteristics. Old habits never beget new beginnings. You must prune your behavior. You must prune your certain characteristics in your life. You must prune your life and the people within it. and be disciplined in it in order to evolve at the rate that is most comfortable for you. Now, I do want to also harp on something as well, too. The definition of an imposter. The definition of an imposter is someone who shows up as someone else. You can't be an imposter and walk in your feminine space authentically at the same time. The two can't exist. You're either choosing to live in self-doubt or you're choosing to live in confidence. You can't Monday and Tuesday be an imposter and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I'm walking in my authentic self. You need to make that decision. The more you bring your true self to the table and you make an effort to evolve, you make an effort to grow and stretch yourself, the more authenticity you will inevitably bring. It's all about effort. Now, I also want to harp on another definition, or another layer, I should say, of imposter syndrome. So like I said, imposter syndrome is someone who shows up as someone else. Yes. We all need to give ourselves permission to tell ourselves that today is just not a good day. We are all human. We work a minimum of 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, a minimum of 8 hours a day. It is okay for us to have an off day or off days. It is okay. We do not have to keep this mask on. That takes a lot of energy, being someone that you're not, or trying to maintain a frame that you're truly not embodying. That's draining. We need to learn how to be vulnerable. Not vent at work, but be vulnerable and take ownership to tell our boss or to tell someone who's over a meeting, hey, I need a couple moments to just take a little break, to step away for a little bit, maybe message him or her on Teams, or if it's in person, just kind of wave your hand. I need a moment to take a little break. Let me step out of this meeting. I'll come back in 10 minutes. Or if you need an extended break, extend that lunch break for an additional 30 minutes. I don't know about an hour, but additional 30 minutes, and come back and collect yourself. That should be all right. I truly believe that there is a unique strength in being vulnerable and being openly okay with being uncomfortable. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people don't want to show that side of them. They want to, maintain this frame of every single day, 365 days out of the year, I'm coming in being my best, I'm doing my best 100% of the time. That's what we want to do, but it's okay if we trip up here and there. So before I end my presentation, I just want to say this last thing. Don't let any title or any role limit who you are. A lot of people get caught up and we wear our job as like a badge of honor. Like, this is who we are, this is our whole entire personality. When we meet somebody new, we're so quick to say, yeah, this is my job, this is my role, this is what I do. That's fine and all, but don't let any title, or don't let the limiting beliefs of any title or role truly define you. All of us sitting in this room, we are more than just our 9 to 5s. We all have unique attributes. We all have unique traits that we can, proudly boast about in a comfortable manner. So I started off my presentation with a quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I'm going to end my presentation off with a quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And the quote goes, "Fight for the things that you care about, and do it in a way that will lead others to join you." Thank you very much. Any questions?
How'd you get so smart?
Trial and error. Yes, yeah.
I just love your bio. So where in New York?